Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a shim, and I already had my husband build this for me. It fits right on top of the brood boxes or the supers, but it's a 2-inch height. Okay, kind of thought it was my idea, but then I found out that other beekeepers are doing the exact same thing. You also want this, it's 1/2 inch wider. 1/2 inch because you want to make sure that the bees can go through this. And I believe even the queen bee can go through it. Okay, so I want the bees to go through it. And what it should look like is this. This one my son made for me. And I stapled on the mesh. Okay. Now, you know, you can also feed your bees with a bag. It's a freezer size bag. Just put it flat size this way. What I'll do then is I'll cut with a razor some like 6 slits, and it doesn't spill over if you just get the top part, and the bees can feed inside. Now, I used to put this directly on the frames, which wasn't a problem until winter time, when I found out that you can't do that because it's not a good idea. Can't do that. It breaks up the cluster in the winter time. And in the winter time, you actually want to put sugar cakes. So that was for another project. But that's when I did this. It's got enough room where it raises it above the frames that are underneath. The bees can go through it and then feed off of the sugar cakes for the winter. So I'm just going to make it. I will put my feeding bag on top. You can see I can probably put 4 of them, and that way I don't have to open it so often. And it stops robbing anytime you feed in the inside of the hive. It's best stops robbing. On this one, it has a hole for ventilation and for bees to use again for the winter time. If the bottom entrance is covered with snow, they have this way to go in, come in and out. But it's for ventilation. I will cover this. Here it is in the summertime. I need to feed my bees because we're in a bad dearth. I will cover this because to prevent robbing. Once hornets and other bees know that there's feeding, they will go for the hive. So I want to cover that. What I'm going to do is try and open this thing. I'm going to lay this on top to give like a measurement, and I want to cut on the sides so that I could fold in the inch and staple it to the sides. Okay, and always use wire cutters, or that's the best way to do it. You notice this one I did actually probably 2 inches, and I stapled it on. So it works. It's great. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll show you my finished project. Okay, so I got this cut, and notice that there's room on each side to go across. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the corners, and I did already here, so that I can fold these edges up. So I can fold these edges up. So, see? I can fold it up and then staple it to the inside of this frame. Okay, so I'm going to finish doing that. Okay, so clearly I measured it wrong. I cut this much from this edge, But what I should have done was cut it just like this. I should have figured you want to take the inside measurement, and probably you want to cut the mesh so that it's just like this along with the whole frame itself. If it's cut with the frame itself, then this part will get folded in to the inside and get stapled. But I guess I have to cut this much now to waste it. I wasted some mesh. So last thing with this heavy duty stapler, I'm going to staple this to the sides. A couple of things I learned is next time got to think about how you're cutting. And so I didn't have that problem the first time I made this. I guess today my head was not in the game. So you got to think about all yours. Second thing is, this thing's a good exerciser. Cutting all this wire is pretty good for me. But here it is. Here it goes. Now I can use it as an inside feeder. I guess the last thing I'm going to do is, my staples are up a little bit, so I'll just take a hammer and finish hammering them all down. I don't know if I don't know how to use this thing or if that's the norm, but there you go. I got another feeder for my second hive, and again I'll use the bag, put it on there. Shouldn't touch the frames, and I'll have a feeder for the winter as well as this girth. Thanks. Bye.